We are going to see a massive push from now until Election Day, using social media, using the media to try to take everything that President Trump is doing and saying out of context.
The Biden campaign actually released this new, disgusting, dishonest ad. Take a look.
Now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath, and it's going to be a bloodbath for the country.
Jews will not replace us!
But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. It's going to be a bloodbath.
And you can understand why the media does it in countries like China and Russia when there's no choice. But here, our media is intentionally and willingly debasing itself to lie for the left.
But that clip was clipped out of context. It has been splashed across the internet.
Many will see it as an unfair media out to get him again. You have to wonder, did Trump deliberately choose bloodbath precisely because he knew the media would overplay it? I don't know. The media just seems willing to pretend they've never heard. Can you imagine that he used the word bloodbath? He got everything he wanted from this already.
Matter of fact, this phrase is very common on the left. Let's remind you.
Republicans understand that they're headed for another potential electoral bloodbath.
Quickly, it's still not clear that Donald Trump will in fact testify, because I think that would be a bit of a bloodbath.
Major universities bracing for a bleak financial situation. Why one expert is predicting a bloodbath as classes resume this fall.
But as Politico.com reports tonight on the, quote, bloodbath at the RNC.
Coming out of Iowa, they were promising that this was effectively going to be a bloodbath. Not only is it going to be a bloodbath, but after they leave New Hampshire, it's a bloodbath on her home turf. That's really tough. And Trump has left a lot of corpses in his wake.
The thing I fear most is if he doesn't run, there's going to be a bloodbath of the Democratic Party.
Because the battle is already on. Donald Trump is going to win this nomination, and we need to be ready for that. Look, it is a long fight ahead. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for anybody. People who don't think this election is going to be a bloodbath are mistaken.
As the administration braces itself for a bloodbath in 2018 and a wave of staff departures.
We're going to begin right off the bat with some breaking news in our money lead and what's being described as a market bloodbath.
It's like we're doing just great in Georgia and, Ohio. Good God, was that a bloodbath the other night?
Florida is going to be a political bloodbath for Bernie Sanders.
Will the media ever stop falling into the same trap over and over?
One specific remark from Donald Trump's rally on Saturday has set off a political firestorm, but is it possible the firestorm is missing what should be of real concern?
We just have to win this election because he's even predicting a bloodbath. What does that mean? He's going to exact a bloodbath? There's something wrong here.
When the former president, who's already incited violence among his followers, says that there's going to be a bloodbath after the election if he does not win, he is telling us what he is going to do.
A major party candidate is saying, you elect me, there's going to be dictatorship, bloodbath, violence, retribution against my political enemies. That equals what we saw in Italy and Germany and other places.
If you look at the way he said this, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole, then he stops. That's going to be the least of it. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country.
Obviously, he's talking about a bloodbath for America. It's laid out in the terms of it. And these idiots on Twitter, these idiots on cable news, these idiots on Sunday shows going, well, presidents, he was talking only about the auto industry, and this is one more. It's just bull. Let me say that at 6:15 a.m. It's just bull.
How can someone be so mistaken? But First Blush is incorrect because this is not stupidity. It's not even insanity. It is purposeful manipulation. Yes, obviously of a clip taken out of context, but purposeful manipulation of your mind. And the purposeful manipulation of your mind is to motivate you by fear to vote. Vote, vote, vote against Donald Trump. This entire story should be used as a case study for how it is the news media had a catastrophic loss of credibility in vast portions of the American public. You are dead on.
They took the bait, so to speak, and seized right on. Do you think Trump was trolling the campaign a little bit to get this response?
No, I mean, they're lying. That's a blatant lie. And Trump wasn't taken out of context. The media is just lying. It's lies. He was specifically talking about the auto industry. Anyone that took 2 seconds to watch the clip would know that. but they decided not to.
He was saying that if you allow the Chinese to dominate the EV industry, which is what Biden's policies are promoting, you're going to destroy the auto industry in this country. I think it shows how low the media is willing to go to cover for Joe Biden.
That's what the liberal media does all the time with Donald Trump. They have been going after him from the time he announced he was running for presidency back in 2016.
Democrats, the mob, the media, they have done far worse than use the term bloodbath in a political analogy in recent years. Some actually even calling for Donald Trump's assassination. Let's take a trip down memory lane. This is probably my favorite montage of the night. Take a look.
And everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives. And unfortunately, there's plenty to go around.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president? I want to clarify, I'm not an actor. I lie for a living.
Just like Donald.
However, it's been a while. And maybe it's time.
How dare he say the things he does? Of course I want to punch him in the face.
Right.
If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
Michelle says that, when they go low, we go high. No. When they go low, we kick them.
I'll put Mr. Burgess up against Sean Hannity. He'll tear him up.
The press always asks me, don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish we were in high school. I could take him behind the gym. That's what I wish.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
Choice to make a mountain out of nothing, less than a molehill of commentary from Donald Trump. One, detracts from your ability to talk about real substantive things that he is saying that are a real problem. And it also contributes to the lack of confidence in mainstream media to not have such an overwhelming bias.
The left has always been against us, has always been against Republicans, but not like this. And you can go through, they've done this with Trump, the Russia hoax. That was a blatant lie. The media knew it, and they pushed the unverified dossier that was, paid for by Hillary Clinton. You look at the Charlottesville lie. I remember hearing the way the media reported that. I'm like, oh, man, that does sound pretty bad. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go read the transcript. He specifically mentioned 4 different groups, and if you actually read the transcript, he explicitly condemned the neo-Nazis and KKK. But the media didn't report that. They lied.
That's a little different in this case, right?
I don't think so, because it's when you actually look at the full picture, you get the taste of what the media tells you, and if you actually do your homework, if you actually do your research, if you actually look at what was really said, it was a lie. So it's actually very similar in that sense.